Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube cast. I'm Wardy, and today I'm going to be taking you back into even more solo games. I know, I keep casting this guy. I'm in a bit of a weird spot for the YouTube channel right now where I just haven't had a lot of stream content the last few days because I've had really bad internet, which now at least seems to be fixed. So what I've done is I've only got a couple different replay packs to work from. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to keep doing this Alpha Pro Series Ultimate Showdown replay pack. We've had a bunch of games from this already on the stream. We're just going to continue through the group stages of this for the next couple of days of uploads. So every upload and for this weekend coming up at least is going to be a YouTube exclusive. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. As we have Sola in the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player here, taking on Zest in the bottom right. So this would make it the winners match of the Group A of this event. We already casted, I believe, Sola versus Fantasy from the first round of this event, and Zest versus Gumiho. So like I say, we're going to now cast the winner match, the lower match, and the decider match of this group. Maybe a game from Group B. It kind of depends on what other replays I can get my hands on. It's just the Alimo League replays, I'm looking at them, and put it this way, I don't think they were necessarily the greatest of series all put together, so kind of interested to see what's in this one instead. So we're just going to stick with this, although if you have any other ideas, please do let me know in the comments down below, and if you enjoy, hit that like button and consider subscribing, as we've been doing great lately, and we want to keep on pushing that good old 10,000 subscriber number over on the YouTube, so helps out with that. Now, Zest here is going to get aggressive very quickly in game number 1. Forge about to finish up on this high ground. He's already got pylons walled in the corner of this base of Solar, and the first cannon is going to start coming up. Now, this gateway into Forge is a very, very good way of setting up in towards the Robo Facility proxy. You would typically want to start the Cybernetics core at home soon so you can get in towards the Robo. I mean, that cannon is going to come up. It will cover the ramp. Those drones are going to keep these probes kind of pinned away from getting back up to the high ground, though. I mean, the probes kind of have to make a bit of a run for it. You can see the problem here. Second cannon will go down the low ground, one more in the high ground. 3 spine crawlers from Solar. I mean, this has just continued to be a full-on cannon rush here, as we're going to be seeing the first drone going down. Probe will drop as well, though. I mean, at this point, Zest just wants to get as much as he can up to try and fight against these spine crawlers, but I'm not sure if he will. And obviously, this has no cyber core at home, so this is fully committed to being a cannon rush sort of victory. You know, there's no robo facility or anything coming down here, and so Zest doesn't have a lot of longevity with this opener. I like this, the probe just trying to help nibble against these Zerglings there. Has to cancel one of the cannons, but one will come up. But all 3 of those spines are about to finish, and as those finish, I mean, this cannon has absolutely no chance at all, right? It's going to go down. This cannon's already taken hits. It's probably going to go down pretty quickly as well. Now, it's not even the hatchery taking damage over here, it's the egg. So, again, not really much being gained. Zest has to cancel another cannon. And what do you do from here? The spines are going to push further forwards. So some links to support it, even more spine crawlers too. And I think Solar's going to hold off this cannon rush in game number 1 of this best of 3. As Zest, I mean, he still has quite a few cannons. He lost 1 spine crawler, or took down 1 spine crawler now. But those spines are still poking and prodding, and the Lings are going to come in to try and help fight this. Well, if Zest does clean up these spines, then Solar doesn't have a lot of economy, in fairness, because he did invest into a lot of spines. Wow, it is going to be GG. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That kind of surprises me there for a moment, actually. You know, it was just this moment. Let's actually just take a quick rewind. Why the heck not, you know? Let's just rewind this a little bit and have a little bit of a discussion. It was a fast game. It was this kind of point here, right, where you're looking at this. I guess what I haven't looked at when I was talking about this at this stage is look at that drone count. Down on 12 against the 18 probes. There's obviously the Lings as well, and I guess I especially kind of disregarded these couple cannons in the back. And yeah, I guess you lose this next spine crawler when they move forwards, because I guess that's what you don't expect as well. You have to move. Well, I wonder if this is a mistake even, because do these spines really have to move forwards right now? Can they not just wait a bit longer? You know, is there any need for them to go immediately? Because these cannons aren't actually in a dangerous place. And if you try and cannon any further forwards, then you're going to get shut down by the spines. So I wonder if this was the mistake by Solar, trying to come further forwards here. It's actually a very weird scenario. I just wonder if he'd wait for these extra spines as well. I just don't know if these cannons are doing anything significant. This one isn't in range of the hatchery. Okay, you can't transfer between bases. That's a little bit annoying, sure, but look how all in Zest is, right? No cybercore, no nothing. I mean, he's about to expand. You definitely have some time where you could get a queen, get a creep tumor perhaps, maybe push all these spines further forwards a little bit more properly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as obviously it happens, right? These cannons are going to kill one Spinecrawler before they even take any hits. The Lings now run in. So, I mean, that's one more Spinecrawler down. This Spinecrawler is out of range, so just completely useless. This one's still building. And yeah, this one took forever to burrow as well. Was blocked or something there. I mean, if you take down this cannon quickly, maybe this one goes down too, or this one. This just fell apart completely, and that is obviously Solar taking the loss in game number 1. Zest able to go 1-0 up. Fun little game to look back on and have a look to see what's happening, though. We're going to jump into game number 2 and see what happens as we continue our way through this series. Game number 2, and down a game in the bottom right-hand side. A little bit of a shock to me. Wasn't ready for that. It is Solar, now Blue Zerg player. Taking on the Red Protoss in the top left-hand side. We have got Zest. That's, of course, representing Ocean Gaming. Solar, of course, representing Triumphant Song Gaming. Both Chinese teams taking part in the current China Team Championship. I did mention we had some really cool China Team Championship matches to show you guys that were coming up on the stream, but obviously with my internet I wasn't able to broadcast those. And as I wasn't able to broadcast those, I kind of just got stuck. This is why I'm in a little bit of a stuck position, because I just haven't been able to stream much this week. I don't have like the extra 2 or 3 uploads from the stream that would help both of these YouTube casts that we've been doing. So I'm just like, huh? Like, what do I cast? I need to try and get my hands on more replay packs. But in fairness, there is some stuff going around. I just have to make some decisions as to what we want to cast. You know what the problem is? The problem is I'm scared of casting more Solar. Because, you know, you go to Limo League, Solar's there too. It just feels like every match I want to cast has Solar in it, and so I want to try and vary it up, but that's really difficult when Solar just plays everything and keeps winning everything, apparently. We'll see if he wins here, but I mean, you know, if he wins here, that's a good thing, because it means the next 2 matches aren't going to be Solar, right? Thumbs up for that one, that'll be great. As you see this probe, patrolling away here from Zest. Cybernex core is going to get dropped down as we have the hatchery dropping into the natural. Drone going to be coming across from Solar to drop a 3rd base as well. I mean, we're on Thunderbird here. Nice bit of a larger map in general. Obviously no cannon rush from Zest. He's already dropping down the Nexus. That's further than he got in the last game at least. So we are perhaps headed beyond the 5-minute marker this time around. Overlord of Solar will continue to just poke forwards as well here as we get going into this game number 2 of this best of 3. Stalker going to start up and Chrono Boost itself away, actually. Pylon down here. Nexus about coming up to completion, I guess, in the next few moments. Trial Council also going to drop behind that main. And again, Probe from Zest just coming down the low ground. Going to get mine in here. As we do see the Zergling speed coming up at the moment. So Zergling speed coming in as we do see this Overlord is going to go running off over to this left-hand side. It's going to get picked off in a moment or two, so Overlord will be about to fall. Oh, no way, just gets there. I guess that was kind of obvious he was going to get there. So resorting back towards this kind of Archon drop opener, the DT opener. It's a style which is always viable in PvZ, basically. I would say that Zest is kind of the lover of the Archon drop as well. If there's ever been a Protoss player who would stand by the Archon drop, even when it was out of the meta, it absolutely was Zest. And, you know, when I say out of the meta, you know, I say out of the meta because people were just opening Stargate every game into Archon drop. So the DT drop definitely did take a backseat for a little while. But Zest did still, again, use it here, use it there, and this is actually, I think, if he doesn't add on a 4th gateway, it's the very quick version of this Archon drop, where he's actually going to be, he really did, you know, not build anything bar 1 Stalker early. He's actually only going to look to warp in 3 DTs initially, and obviously that's not enough to build the Archon, but then you can also warp in 3 more. And then you've got 2 DTs to harass, and, you know, the 2 Archons to harass as well. So we shall see. It does hit that little bit faster because it's only 3 gateways as well. So let's see what happens here as Zest is just going to be having his Warp Prism heading onto the map. Now, Solar's setup is going to be a Roach Roar, it's going to be a Lair. Spore Crawlers in both the main and the... Hello? Production tab wouldn't take me over to the other Spore Crawler. Main and the... sorry, natural and the 3rd base. So nothing in the main, but obviously, typically these attacks don't come into the main right away. So I was pretty confident it's not a Stargate as well, because I suppose at this stage he saw the Stalker opener and he saw the Robo facility, so he's very aware that he doesn't need a Spore Crawler in the main, as we do see the first 2 DTs running forwards. I mean, these can still do damage here, even with a Spore Crawler up. 3 Queens, though. I'll see what he wants to try and do. You can stay in between the bases. Although then you can't really get much done there. You can see the DTs coming over now, chasing the Queens. And yeah, the most important part of this is just not letting the War Prism take too much damage from the Queens, because then when you try and save the DTs, you're in trouble. He's actually going to dive onto the Spore Crawler there. It's going to cost him... Oh, it's actually going to cost him a DT, but then he's going to keep on fighting. Now, the Overseer was building. It's on its way over. 2 more DTs into the main. He has to unsiege the War Prism, though. He's going to lose both DTs, and he didn't get the warp in into the main base, so this is actually really bad for Zest. He's going to, well, just about save this Warp Prism. This Observer doesn't know where it wants to be going either. I mean, now he's warping 3 more DTs back at home, which he'll just lift up into the Prism and go back across the map. But when the Prism is this low in health, I mean, all of a sudden, you're already super vulnerable to Queen shots once again. So he's going to have to be really careful here. As we see, those DTs are going to drop back down, morph into an Archon. And Zest is just going to go into a backup plan and going into a 3rd Nexus. But I really feel this was disastrous for Zest. You lose all 3 initial DTs. You're forced to recoil. That's 1 less Chrono Boost. Your Prism is low, so harassing is not going to be as viable. I mean, Solar, he loves doing this. Dropping down the Spire when he goes up against a kind of a Protoss player who's open with a non-Stargate style. He loves doing this, and he does it all the time, and honestly, it can work so well. And you also have such a choice as well. Do you just go into like 6 or 7 meters to force a defense and to harass around? Do you go into like even more metalists and really commit into that and, you know, use them to really help make the Protoss player fall apart? You definitely do have a couple of different choices there as these Archons. We'll just about pick up that Overseer overhead as Stalker and Mortal picking off some Zerglings at the front. Spire about halfway done as the Roach Speed is about a complete charge on the way up as well, halfway done. Gateway is dropping down in the upper right corner of this base, so Zest is just going to go to 8 gates. I mean, he does have the 3rd Nexus, but he isn't building any more probes right now, which means that he's generally looking as though he might be done with probe, and he's just going to commit to this all in across the map. Let's see, I mean, obviously everything he's done here has been a bit offset by a bit of a weaker opening to what he would have usually liked to have. There's 2 Archons coming in, that's going to be a dead Overlord, so Overlord goes down, still some Roaches, perhaps going to take some damage. 7 Mutalisks building right now, so getting those 7 Mutas up and running as the +1 melee upgrade comes in on the Evo Chamber. Zest straight down through the center of the map here. Charges about to complete, and as the Archons unload, we are ready for Zest to make his assault in towards the bases of Solar. Just going to see 2 more DTs, 2 more Zards warping in. The others are going to come forward, so they're going to dive straight for the Warp Prism. Might just be worth it. Stops this attack completely. What costs him? It costs him 2 Mutalisks, but I feel if he went back down to the bottom left, he actually would have only lost 1. Worth it to get rid of the Warp Prism, because I mean, again, Zest is pretty committed to this. He's got a few probes on the 3rd. He did add in like an extra round of probe production, but that's about it. And Solar pulling back. He's only been building Roach Ravager. This should be an easy hold in that stage. He kind of puts himself in a corner there into a choke point. That doesn't help him at all. Let's see what he can do with this, as he is just going to continue fighting. Again, that's really a clumped up set of Roaches. I don't like the fallback behind this kind of Roach Roar, and I feel like only made life more difficult for Solar. In the end, it doesn't really matter. He's going to stomp this army anyways. Again, Zest had a weak opener, and this really became an issue. And Solar's going to be able to tie this up 1-1. Again, a little bit skeptical about that move back behind the Roach Roar, but hey, at the end of the day, it worked out anyways, right? And Solar ties this up 1-1, and we are going to a game number 3 between these guys. So Solar, recovering from the cannon rush. Let's see if he can keep his mind straight going into that next map here, as it will be the decider. Disco Bloodbath will be the battlefield for our final map of this series. In the bottom right-hand side, the red Zerg player from Triumphant Song Gaming is Solar, taking on the blue Protoss player in the top left-hand side, Zest. Again, if you're enjoying the games, I know there have been some aggressive games here so far. Don't forget that like button, don't forget the comment. You can whack the subscribe button too. See when we upload, and we upload daily. With currently the best and most focused StarCraft content. That doesn't really explain it very well, does it? We only upload the best of what we cast, basically, nowadays. Rather than back in the day, we used to upload like 3 videos a day. We used to literally just crank out everything that was on the... Everything we streamed, we would upload. Like, everything we streamed, we would upload. And I did, like, these massive YouTube days of, like... I spent, like, 2 hours, basically, like, cutting VODs, uploading VODs, mass editing them, queuing them up. Not worthwhile. Not worthwhile. And people don't want to see your uploads today. You guys want to see the best, and only the best. So that's what we're bringing you. I always thought, you know, if you fall down this chasm and die, at least you get to see loads of pretty lights on your way down, you know? It's a nice thing about Disco Bloodbath. If it is the end of your life here, if you don't make it to the end of the game, you know, at least you died, you know, on the dance floor. A bit of a party. There are worse maps to die on. Abyssal Reef, where you just float off into the nether. You're never to be seen again. There's a couple of us that we have some really kind of like... You know when you see that, like, the Reaper get blown up and then it's like corpse flies off the edge, you look down, you're like, oh, that doesn't look like a good play. Oh, no. So Disco Bloodbath, you know, it's got a bit of joy in the finality of the world. You know, we've got the band over here playing, I mean... I want to say those are drums. I actually don't know what it is. It looks like a squidgy ball that has two squidgy... It looks like a helmet with ears, right? He's just whacking the ears. He's like, ear, 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 ear. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting, isn't it? I actually have no idea what that little item is. Do you guys know? I have no clue. Like I say, it's a joyful map. As the early game of this PvZ develops, third hatchery nice and quickly from Solar, and Zest will fall back to a Stargate play for the Decider. So getting that Stargate up and running, as we do just have the Overlord from Solar continuing up to the top. And that Cybernetics core just continuing to research the warp gate here as Zergling speed dropping down on the spawning pool. Now with the Stargate, of course, Zest will get a unit up a little bit faster than the last game, and we'll see Solar. Well, right away here, he already knows it's one Adept early rather than a Stalker first. It will still be a Stalker, so... maybe trying to send a bit of a mind game, because again, if you see a Stalker, you typically don't expect necessarily a Stargate, because, you know, he would just build the Phoenix, get rid of the Overlord. So we'll probably see Oracle first here. That should be a given at this stage. He might skip the Phoenix altogether with this Stalker. You see the Stalker popping out, and Overlord is going to get pushed. I like this. Runs to the other side, pushes the Overlord more into his base, because it means it's further away from this high ground. If Solar doesn't respond to that for a couple of seconds, it actually makes this a very killable Overlord, rather than an Overlord that's just going to escape away and hide forever, and never be seen again until high ground vision comes up. We might actually see the Stargate revealed here just to get that Overlord kill. I think at this stage, you know, there's a few different things as well in general that Solar can be looking out for, and to figure out that this is a Stargate anyways. And it's just worth to get this early Overlord kill, so... just get that still, you know, second Oracle right away. Probably still not seeing a Phoenix, at least for a little while here. The only real use of a Phoenix now would be to go and try and kind of lift up Queens, etc., while the Oracle is harassed, which isn't a bad use of a Phoenix. But definitely worth getting the Oracles up first, because the Phoenix isn't needed that quickly now this Overlord has been picked off. Robo Facility drops down. So let's check these gases at like 325. That's kind of early. It's very quick, as we do see the 2 drone kills from Oracle number 1. Robo in the Twilight now following up, so yeah, you can see right from the start, Zest is happy to just go into more and more tech units here, more tech structures. Get that established, as we're going to be seeing that Robo Facility just about halfway done, the 2 Oracles. Back down the bottom side, the single Zergling of Solar patrolling away on the left, and 3 extra gates, so an Archon drop follow-up is not really, again, out of the ordinary here. Just 2 Oracles into the Archon drop. Nice that it's 2 Oracles, because, well... nice that it's 2 Oracles and no Phoenix, because the lack of a Phoenix will mean that this is just a little bit faster. Obviously, the more Oracles, etc. that you build, the slower your Archon drop is going to be, and the slower your Archon drop is, the less damage it's going to do, the less effective it's going to be at forcing units, the less effective it's just going to be at harassing in general. And as you see those 2 Oracles down the bottom side. Queen, score. Getting some hits, Oracle's taking some damage there, as Zest is still kind of chilling down in the bottom corner. Queen's come in for a couple more shots. Oracle's going to recall. Interesting. I guess the third baseman's in trouble with these Zerglings. It's just an interesting position to recall, because it was in range of the Queen, but just about okay. Energy's still active. I mean, it's a long time to have your energy active, and he only picks up 1 more ling. Now, so that's just when he wants to make sure you can secure that third. Let's see what Solar does here, because this time it was a Stargate, so I would say he's less likely to throw down the Spire. But it doesn't make it an impossibility. You can still play as, you know, there was no Phoenix made initially, right, which is already one thing that will help out a little. It's just the fact the Stargate is up. It means if that Spire is spotted at any time, and more likely to be spotted by those Oracles, if it's spotted at any time, you can start Phoenix production immediately, of course, and you know, that becomes very important to helping deflect those mutalisks. But no, it's instead going to be the Infestation Pit, which is kind of the other way that Solar really seems to like to play. When it is a Stargate opener, going towards the Swarm Host, going towards the Nidus network, and try and pick up a couple of, well, kills with the Swarm Host. I mean, the Swarm Host can be super effective I mean, on this map, obviously you've got this Nidus position here, straight to the main, super powerful. That's pretty much the only one that's like super powerful though, you know, I mean, obviously you can drop it over here maybe and jump over into the third base. So, yeah, that's the one that's kind of way out the way though, and also still close to a base, obviously for Pro Zombie to come around here and to clean that up. Takes a little while for them to walk around the other side of the rocks. Not so much. Rover facility number 2 from Zest. Now, what he really wants here against these Swarm hosts is a good amount of splash to clean up those locusts quickly and effectively. Storm would always go a long way, right? Because if you can drop a Storm or 2 just to soften up the locusts, boom, you know, Immortals are now one-shotting. You know, you've got the Archons are going to splash down a bunch when they hit as well. So far, Zest has just been trying to deny some of the group spread with this Warp Prism here. And the 10 Swarm hosts continuing out. So, as those Swarm hosts continue out, we're getting ready for the first wave of them. That night is about to be in play. There's one Oracle, you can see this already scouting around as well. I love this split on the Oracle. So really is actually just watching for the Swarm host Nidus is coming down. Things everywhere as well, right? Like, Zest has got to realize, like, oh my god, you've got so much vision, this could come in anywhere. And he just sent one Stalker forward to start cleaning up a couple of these things. Take away some of the opportunities as to where this could be. Finds himself a queen, by the way. These Archons are doing well. I like what they've done. You know, not diving in anywhere too crazy, but just slowly picking off creep, now finding themselves a queen. You know, it really does all add up over time. I like this play from Zest. Again, just the consistency of keeping something out on the map. It really does go a long way as the Nidus Worm drops down at the front. So it's going to go to kind of just the right side. So obviously it's close to where the army can respond to it, but it still has good access to that main base. Roaches are coming across at the same time. This Nidus was cancelled over here. Storm's going to go into the main. I actually don't know what you do about that. Problem is they're so close to the main base as well. They're going to have the life to jump straight onto the Nexus. That was a missed target by Solo though, dropping a few down already on the gates. He is going to set a few off onto towards the Forge. He'll get a good few probes here. 8-10 workers already down. Kills off +1 attack as well. And the Nexus is going to get very low. In fact, Nexus will just go down. Wow. Great first Swarm Host attack here. 10 probes, Forge, and the Nexus. And Solo just backs away with the rest of the army. He's like, yeah, that was kind of a good start for me. Drops down the Spire and the Hive, and so he just says, cool, now I'll just start heading towards the Gorilla Spire. When you do that much damage right from the start, it already puts the Protoss behind, and you know, Protoss is now 2 base against 4 bases, so that 4th of Solar has finished up. Nidus over here does get found pretty quickly. Another one now back over to the right. Again, it's important for Zest to be able to keep shutting those Niduses down, try and stop those Swarm Hosts from coming into play as often as possible. Every Swarm Host Nidus, Nidus you can deny is a Swarm Host Locust Wave that is maybe missed, and every Locust Wave missed is less damage and less effectiveness, less value from these Swarm Hosts. Looks like these Locusts are just going to try and drop down on the army. 7 more High Templar warping in again, just kind of needs more Archons, right? Again, it really would be nice if we could see a few more, you know, like Storm or something in all of this. That said, Zest is doing good micro with the Warp Prism, and again, as when the Locust Wave goes down, if you don't lose anything because of the shield batteries and Archons, etc., then you can chase, and typically that's when you start getting kills, you kill off Roaches, etc., and that's your way to kind of fight against this, to really take down them Roach numbers, and to just get to a point where you can kind of deal with the Locust without losing too much every single time by Warp Prism, micro, etc. That's how you fight this, and that's how Zest is still alive and kicking here. Another attempt at Nidus over on the left. There's so many Niduses now, though, and again, can't really take back the fact that that first Nidus over here into the main base really got so much done. I mean, Zest is still missing that +1 attack upgrade, hasn't started it up again. And that is something that's really missing out here, because that diff, you know, that little bonus would generally go a long way. Here the Locusts do get taken down, and again the Zerglings are pushed back, and the Roaches have to fall back as well. So Zest continues to hold without losing too much. And I mean, that's exactly what he needs to keep on doing in all of this. We're going to see this Overseer chase down. Niduses will get picked off. The problem is the Great Aspire, and Solo behind all of this aggression is going up in towards the Broodlords, and maybe that's why Zest is able to hold on, because if Solo hasn't made extra units, because instead he's teching, and he's teching hard. Great Aspire is about to finish up here, more Corruptors in production. Archons and the Immortals come in to take down that Nidus network, and we do see 2 Oracles in the center as well. The extra Zerglings coming down up the right-hand side. The Roach pressing forwards as well. He's going to see the Nidus from Solar out over to the upper right. Playing Roach Ravager, seeing where it can go as the Archons pressing in. Nidus will go down. Zergling's going to get picked off. Still this army of Solar back up through the center. So it's Archons and Immortals trying to see what they can get up to. Oracles here are going to Pulsar Beam down another Nidus. It's been a good defense, but again, now we have Broodlords on the map. And what is the preparation for Broodlords? I mean, oh, you're building Blink. You know, that's cute and all. Like, I mean, against the first wave of Broodlords, Blink might just about be able to cut it. If Solo just gets more and more of these broods up, I mean, I'd already say, I mean, he's got 8, he's going to 11. 11 Broodlords might actually just be too much for Blink anyways. I mean, there's actually no Stalkers already in this army as well, remember, so they still have to be added on yet. Two Archons are going to drop down to try and get a bit more damage done. Solar going all the way back with the Road Ravager. Again, the thing is, he's just stood behind a Spinecrawler wall. How do you break that as Zest? You kind of just don't. The Nidus Network in the top side. Bunch more Stalkers warping in. And this army of Zest pushing down the bottom side of the map. Let's see what he can do. Blinking +1 going to be finishing up in a moment. Nidus are still popping all over the place. We're going to see the Swarm Host going to drop some, throw some Locusts up into the skies. And those are going to start now dropping down on towards these gateways. So a couple of gateways dropping in here as you see the Broodlords, seeing what else they can do. Landing down on a Stalker. Mortals still pressing forwards. Couple of Spinecrawlers getting picked off. So a couple of Spines going down as the Stalker's blinking into this here. Broods are continuing to take some damage. One Broodlord drops the Archons and Immortals. Still pressing into this right now as we're just going to be seeing another Spinecrawler trying to come forwards in this. More Stalkers warping in the background. Broodlords still dropping their Broodlings in towards this Archon Immortal army, and again, I mean, did a single Broodlord even die in this? One. He killed one Broodlord. And I mean, obviously now the Locusts are still back in play as well. There's no way Zest breaks through, and obviously he lost a lot of army trying to do so. He wasn't prepared to fight Broodlords, he wasn't prepared to go late game, and because of that he had to try and make this attack work, but it just wasn't fast enough. The Broodlord camp was already up and running, and Solo is going to take him like that, and Solo will advance. That takes him through out of this group, which is good news for us, right? Because it means that we'll see a couple of other matches. So the next match from this group would be Fantasy versus Gumiho, and then the winner of that plays Zest. So yeah, that's coming up. In the next couple of days on the channel, we are going to cast those games, whether good or bad, because I just don't really have much else of a choice. But again, if you have any other suggestions of stuff you might like to see, please do let me know. I'll do my best to get a hold of replays, etc., to cast some more games for you guys. So yeah, Solar, 2-1 against Zest. Thanks for watching today, guys. Have a great rest of your day, as always. And I'll see you guys.